welcome everyone to yet again another live stream. I am so excited to be here and to be talking with you guys. This is a day that God has made. It is a wonderful day, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. We're going to be talking about something completely new that I haven't really touched on in all my videos when I do live streams, and that is specifically pop culture stuff, pop culture conversations. And so I'm thrilled, I'm excited to be here, and we're going to be talking about it. Um, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff that has happened between last year and this year. I've had some time to think about, what some of these things mean and how important it is to our daily life or the things that we do. So let's dive into it. Pop culture is so significant in the ways that sometimes we don't even think about because it shows we can draw some bridges and some conclusions from that and actually apply that to our everyday life, right? And the reality is, when I look at some of the things that have happened within the music industry from 2024 all the way to 2025, it is worth noting that the times and seasons that we're living in are pretty interesting. I think it's crazy. I think that sometimes we feel like we know so much, we know too much, but then ignorance is loud and is on display. And you're able to see that in the conversations, in the comment sections, in the things that people say, and the things that people talk about, in the narratives that are spread all across the board. And you're asking yourself, is this real? Is this true? This is insane. This is insanity to me. This doesn't sound pretty accurate. So we're gonna talk all about that today. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you type in the search, or just click on the profile, on the top profile, and then just tap that subscribe and see a bunch of the work that we have done between last year and this year. We've done a lot of great work, and some of the stuff I'm really proud of. I think it's really great, and a lot of people, can attest to the good stuff that we've done. So if you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and make sure you put that subscription in, and then we can go from there, right? But one of the things I wanted to talk about is when you go through a period of winning for so long, people get tired of it. People get tired of seeing you win. People get tired of seeing you do so well. People get tired of seeing you as the number one guy. People get tired of seeing you be the one that everyone is coming to, everyone is talking about, everyone wants to gain your attention, right? And so when people get tired of seeing you win, there's a growing desire within their hearts to see you fail, right? And that is what happened between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, right? Kendrick Lamar is a great artist, so is Drake. They are not on the same level. Mainstream media would love to have you thinking that those two artists are on the same level. They are not on the same level at all. In no way, shape, or form can they compare. In no way, shape, or form can either of them say that, like, no, we're on the same level or we're competing for the same position, because that is not true. Frankly speaking, that is not true. Frankly speaking, that is not true. One artist is all the way up here, another artist is here, right? It's not even close. And so what I watched a year that I watched a year that one individual got blackballed in such a manner, in such a crazy manner, right? in a way that is unheard of or thought about or imagined. And it was I would call it a collective takedown. I would call it a collective takedown because it was so calculated. Everything about it was calculated. Everything about it was arranged. Everything about it was planned. And they were supposed to succeed. In no way, shape, or form were they supposed to be unsuccessful in their attempt to bring down the most sought after artist in our generation, in this decade, right? And so when you look at things from a pop culture standpoint and you look at it and you transfer that same, situation into politics or into everyday life, you're able to see that sometimes even the people that you work with can come together and say that we don't want you to succeed anymore. We don't want you to win anymore. Or we know the value and skill sets and assets that you bring. However, we do not want you in this position anymore. We are done with you. And we are going to do everything in our power to make sure that you do not succeed. We're going to make sure we do everything in our power to make sure that you do not come out on top. And what do you do in such a situation? And of course, when you look at, the other artists as compared to the one that was fueling the whole thing, I think that he handled it pretty gracefully. I think that he, stood on business and, when everybody said, oh, you should take a step back, he said, no, I'm going to take a couple of steps forward more. And now we are, as a matter of fact, anticipating his album. He is on pace to have his biggest streaming year ever. And that is how you come out of a tough situation. That is how you come out of a nasty predicament when everybody and it feels like the weight of the world is on you, and everybody and everything that you've built is on you and against you, right? That is how you respond. And a couple of weeks ago, I did a video talking about legacy, and I spoke about how legacy is not important and it is purpose that is more important than legacy. And I think that tying that into this conversation about pop culture can be so important and so important and so freeing actually, because when you think about the fact that someone has done something so well, so gracefully, that we've grown up with this, we grew up listening to his music, and to think that in 1 year, all of that is null and void, all of that after a series of attacks from his peers and people that he's worked with in the industry and the industry itself doing and changing rules to make sure that he doesn't succeed, to think that his whole 15, 16-year run is null and void because of 1 year is insane. But that is legacy for you. And so legacy does not matter, because if you're working with people in an industry and they have so much control and influence and they decide to come against everything that you've built, do we say that legacy is important? If evil people have the power to change a narrative and to sway public opinion in a particular way, right? The truth will always come out. The truth will always stand out in and of itself, of course. But while we wait for the truth to come out, what do we do in that instance? How do we respond? How do we fight back, right? And that is why purpose must always be number one, because when we feel like the weight of the world is against us and everything that we've built and spent our years building is collapsing before us, the only thing that is going to give us strength to keep going is our purpose, right? Back to pop culture conversations. Sometimes we allow envy and jealousy to be the root of our destruction. And so you can imagine that an artist like Kendrick Lamar in this season would probably be thinking that this is supposed to be his time and his moment to shine. However, no one is talking about him. No matter the plenty of awards that he can get, he is still not the number one relevant artist. It is not him. You understand? And so now the biggest defining moment of his career is still going to be attributed to Drake. That's just what it is. And so even in that moment, we can learn something about pop culture and realize that we have to spend time just developing ourselves and creating a gift or nurturing a gift that just pushes us in our music or whatever we do up front. And don't worry about your competition. Don't worry about bringing your competition down. Your competition is supposed to keep you on your toes. It's supposed to keep you hungry, motivated to keep going, to keep shining, to keep doing more, to keep wanting more. That is the way you're supposed to go about your life. Your goal isn't to play with corporate to bring another individual down. You're not smart, because if they can work with you to bring another person down, what makes you think what makes you think that you're smart? What makes you think that they won't turn their back on you? What makes you think that they are not capable of doing the same dirty job that you're doing to another artist? What makes you think that they can't do that to you? What makes you think that you're invincible? Unless you're prepared to deal with the consequences. And in this case, a lot of people aren't prepared to deal with the consequences. But one of the things I learned from all this, the whole beef from last year, I realized that people's opinions can quickly change because a lot of people don't have a mind of their own. People today don't have a mind of their own. People today don't have a backbone. A lot of people like to think that they're woke and they're so knowledgeable, but they're a bunch of sheep. They're just following. They have no strength or character. They have no knowledge of anything at all. And that is so important in today's world, in today's climate, is having a mind of your own. Having a mind of your own. These people don't have a mind of their own. These people don't have a mind of their own. They just go with the narrative. Whatever the narrative says is what they go with. That's what it is. And no strength of character, no backbone. And so one of the things I really learned from the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake was the fact that people's opinions can change at any time, right? And that in the heat of the moment, when it feels like the whole world is coming against you and everything that you've built, being your legacy, is crashing down, the only thing that is going to keep you going is your purpose, right? Drake's passion for music is what kept him going during the beef. After everybody said, "Oh, he lost," or most people, most blogs and internet posts said he lost, he still kept on dropping music. He still kept on doing music and doing shows and whatever. And he's about to have his biggest streaming year ever. That is how you respond to such a situation. That is how you respond to such a situation. Another point worth mentioning, right, is the fact that in business, in education, whatever field of study, field of life you find yourself in, right, it is very important to choose your battles. Pick your battles wisely. And one of the things I thought about post beef when I looked at the pop culture, elements that we can incorporate into our own social life, right? I was thinking about the fact that if Drake had decided not to respond, people would have probably clowned him and said, "Oh, he's a P word for not wanting to respond or go back and forth with Kendrick Lamar," right? But that would have saved him so much. That pain and the stress and all this lawsuit and all of this court case and all of that, if he had just decided to not do anything at all and just be quiet and just not respond, he would have been fine. But because he responded to that, he ended up giving his competitor his biggest year ever. And his competitor is now one of the most sought after artists in the world, because he decided to engage. And sometimes we will face people, we'll have people that will say nasty things to us, we'll have people that will say crazy things to us, and we don't engage. We don't engage. We just let them be. We just let them say whatever they want to say, right? That's what it is, right? You can't control what people are going to say about you or what people are going to say to you. You're not in control of that. However, what you're in control of is how you respond to that situation. How are you going to respond to that situation? How are you going to respond to the crazy things, the crazy narratives that are going to be said about you? And the reality is, you have to prepare for those kinds of things, because if you do want to be successful, if you do want to be on the global stage, if you feel that the path of life that you've been called to pursue is going to put you on the main stage, is going to put you in places with high profile people, high profile individuals, you have to be prepared to listen to things from individuals that say nasty things about you, and be quiet and don't respond. Just leave it to time. Certain battles are just better left to time, right? In Drake's case, he wasn't wise because you've already proved a lot. You've proved a lot over these years. You've proved that you're the number one artist of our generation. You've proved that you're a hit maker. You've proved that you're all that. You did not need to respond. You did not need to respond. You did not need to show people that you can rap and they ghost rap. You can't win everybody. Everyone can't be on your side. It just doesn't work like that, right? And so the earlier we understand that we need to pick and choose our battles and the way we respond to people and the kind of crazy things and narratives that are spread across, that is how we win. I'll end by saying that insults are people's opinion about you. And those people have a right to say whatever they want to say about you. They absolutely have a right. People have a right to not believe in you or not believe in your craft and not believe in the thing that you've been called to do, no matter how great and no matter how good you become. People have a right to hate on what you're doing. You can't win everyone, and not everyone should be on your side. There has to be people, of course, in the crowd. There'll be people that will give you constructive criticism. They'll say, okay, you could have done this a little better, you could have done that a little better. The crowd is going to consist of those people, and the crowd is going to consist of people that no matter the good that you do, you can't please them, right? What kind of wasteful life are you going to have as an individual that you want to please everybody? It's a cancer. It's a sickness that you want as an art, even as an artist, right? Even as an artist, you have to know your audience. As a public speaker, you have to know your audience. My message won't be for everyone. Not everybody wants to listen to pop culture messages that you can find applicable in everyday life. Not everybody wants to hear that. No, not everybody. Some people want to listen to other stuff, which is fine. I will find my audience, and no matter the distasteful messages that I get, I'm still committed to my purpose. I'm still committed to what I need to do for myself. And that is the same that you should do. That is the same thing that you should do, right? We are not in control of what people do. We're not in control of what people say. And sometimes the greatest strength of character is your ability to just remain super tunnel visioned and focused on your mission, on what you've been called to do, your assignment, and not pay attention to the distractions, right? A lot of the things that we will experience in our world today is all about actions and reactions, And I always say that as an individual, you want to act. You want to act. You don't want to react. What's that? Benda? I can't pronounce that, but thank you. I appreciate it. I did see you. I acknowledge you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Go ahead and give me a sub too. Go ahead and give me a sub while you're at it. But the whole point is, we will come across people in our spaces that won't like us for certain reasons. You can't please everyone, and not everyone is going to like you. Some people are not going to like you at your workplace because you work too hard. I've seen that happen. Sometimes when people are insecure and they're not willing to work as hard, and they see a newer person working, they see someone with a solid work ethic, they hate on you. They say, why are you working so hard? Why are you doing all this? Why are you doing too much, right? And their whole reasoning, the whole thought process is they're trying to make you less because they're not willing to do what you're willing to do. So how do you respond to that? Do you respond by not working as hard as you used to? No. There's a saying that a man that works more than he is paid will soon be worth more than whatever. I mean, there's a saying like that. I can't remember what that saying is, but there's a saying like that anyway, right? And so we can't let people's opinions about us influence the way that we see the world and how we do life. Everybody is entitled to your opinion, of course, and certain opinions are not necessary, certain opinions are not validated, right? Should you care about what people say about you? No. It is good to know what they say. It's always good to know what they say, but you shouldn't care, right? Because the very moment you start caring about what the world is saying, the very moment you start caring about pop culture, your life becomes miserable. That's just the reality. Your life becomes miserable, your life becomes a pain, and now instead of living for you, you're living for the praise and approval of other people, right? And in the business world, when you're doing business, if you have a shop, a coffee shop, whatever it is, you're going to be competing with other business owners. You're going to be competing with other people that are doing something similar or are in the same space. And sometimes they can take an ad in a newspaper, in a magazine or something, and throw shade, throw shots, and you have to just remain focused on your business, on what you're doing, and not pay attention to them because they don't matter, right? And so I look at the same situation with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, right? The same situation with Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and I'm thinking that Drake did not need to respond to Kendrick Lamar. Because even if you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, let's call it as it is. He is not on the same level as Drake. It's not even close. It's not close at all. Financially, stream wise, fan base wise, they are not close. They are not close at all. They're not close on any level, right? Kendrick makes very conscious music, and Drake makes music that ages like fine wine. Both rap, but very different styles of rap, right? They're not close on the same level. And so I'm talking to you right now, right? And I'm telling you that if you're doing something, whatever it is that you're doing, I don't know and I don't care. But whatever it is that you're doing, if you find yourself in a beef with someone who isn't on the same level as you, stop giving them attention. Stop giving them attention. Stop giving them praise. Don't even try to respond to them. If I tried to respond to every single individual that was negative in my journey, in my YouTube journey, whatever it is, I wouldn't be where I'm at. Every time you take a step to respond to someone, it's like you're literally turning back. You're turning back to respond. You're turning back to talk to someone. You're turning back to defend yourself. How long can you defend yourself? How long? Every single time you take a step back to respond to a hater, to respond, to tweet back to a hater, to comment back to a hater, let them be. Let them be. 9 times out of 10, the people that are going to hate you for the stuff that you're doing, the people that are going to be against you for the stuff that you're doing, they're not even on your level. The people that are above you, the people that are above you in your career and whatever it is that you're doing, those people don't have time for you. Those people they won't beef with you. They won't beef with you because you're not on their level, right? The only people that are going to want to come at you are the people that are below you. And every time you turn to talk or defend yourself to someone that you're below you, you're bringing yourself to their level. It's that simple. It's that plain and simple. You're bringing yourself down to their level, and you shouldn't do that. If you're trying to win the long-term game of life, don't bring yourself down to your haters' level, right? Love is above and hate is below. Love is above and hate is below. Every time that you turn around to respond to a hater, you're bringing yourself low. And you should always be on top. Hinduism only says love from India. Love from India too. I gotta come to India sometime next year. I'm gonna be in India, so I'm sure we'll get together when I'm done in India. If you guys are on here, please go subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. We are very close. We're at 951. I need all of you guys on here. Just go subscribe to the channel, please. It means a lot to me, especially if anything I've said so far has been meaningful to you. Please go do that sub for me real quick. But that is the most important thing. It's that simple. And everywhere we go, we will compete with someone. That is the world that we live in. We have to compete. We have to battle people. We have to study. We have to read. We have to learn. We have to improve our communication skills. We have to develop ourselves because we're going to compete. We have to compete for everything. We have to compete for that high paying job. We have to compete for whatever it is you're looking for. You have to fight for that. And in the process of fighting for those things, you might lose sometimes. You might lose, and it's okay to take some L's. It's okay to take some L's. It's not how you lose, it's how you respond after that so-called loss. Natty says, unique eyes, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, man. I feel like this is my first time having you on live stream, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and that way we can get connected. Whenever I post something, you see it. But I appreciate you. Make sure you sub to the channel, bro. I appreciate it. Right? Everywhere we go, we are going to compete. I've never, even in school, right? Even in school, in college, in high school, whatever it is, you had to compete to be in the team. You had to compete to be in the team. You had to compete to be number one, to make it in that position. If you played basketball, if you played football, if you played soccer in school, you had to compete or else you're not getting in the team, right? And so sometimes in that process of competing and getting into the team or being called the best player on the team, you rub other people the wrong way, and other people don't like that. People don't like that. People don't want to see you win, and so people hate on you in the process, right? People will hate on another individual that is doing better than them, or that is training hard, or that is more charismatic, or that is a ladies man, or whatever it is, whatever attribute that you have. Someone doesn't like that. And what are you going to do? Is your life going to be a pain? Is your life going to be miserable because another individual can't stand you? Of course not. Of course not. Natty says, hit me back. I will. I will for sure. As a matter of fact, I definitely will. If you go on my profile, if you go on my profile link, for you guys that are on here right now, if you go on my profile link, it'll take you to my Instagram as well. So just go on there. I want to chat with you guys after this. I want to have more conversations with you guys after this. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. And then those of you that have other channels, I'll sub as well. But once you hit on that link, it'll take you to my Instagram and other places. You can follow me on there. I'll follow you guys on there as well, and then we can talk. We can chit chat from there as well. So Natty, I definitely got you. I definitely got you. But that's the whole reality. And one of the things that really stood out to me during the beef was sometimes people can moralize something that is evil just because they don't like you, right? If people don't like you, they can justify why they don't like you, even though their reasoning is sick, right? I saw for the first time in a long time, I saw people celebrate jealousy. I saw people celebrate jealousy and envy. I saw people celebrate lies, right? How are you engaging in a rap beef? How are you engaging in a rap beef? And you tell a lie that this other person that you're competing with has a daughter. It's still unproven. It's not been proven, as a matter of fact. So we don't know what this mysterious daughter is. This 11-year-old daughter, or whatever, how old she is. That daughter does not exist. And it was swept under the rug. It was swept under the rug because Drake was not supposed to win that beef, right? It was the first time in my life where I saw that someone can lie on a main stage. Someone can lie and people will help. People will justify that lie. People will justify envy and jealousy, right? And it showed me that when you decide to win, when you decide to do good, when you decide to succeed in life, there's going to be people that are going to fight you, and they will morally justify their sick and twisted narrative. They will justify it. And what do? Of course, shalom, the power of unity with divinity is balanced with the inner and outer. Of course. How do you respond when you're doing something for yourself, for your family, you're trying to win, you're trying to do good, and someone sees that you're not willing to work as hard as you are, and they hate on that, right? And they don't just hate on that, they're trying to justify why they hate and envy you. I've never seen anything like it. I've been on social media, I've been on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I've been on all these places for years. I have never seen a time like last year where people would justify envy and jealousy and lies. It was insane. Do we not, and that's when I really realized something, right? When people decide that they don't like you, when people decide that they're not going to support you, they are willing to go above and beyond. Even if they know in their mind that they're delusional, they won't accept it. They're willing to go above and beyond to say that there's something wrong with you, when deep within it's they know it's them. And that's the crazy thing, right? I heard a rapper say, I hate the way you do this, I hate the way you do that, I hate the way you do this, I hate the way you do that. And I saw people cheering that on. I thought this was supposed to be a sport. I thought this was supposed to be about who's the better lyricist and who can make those punchlines and stuff. Why are we celebrating hate and envy and jealousy? Where did that come from? Question mark. Where did that come from? And so I'm asking myself all these questions as I analyze things. And sometimes that's my fault. I like to over analyze stuff. But I'm looking at this from a corporate level and a social level, and I see that there's so many flaws in the system. And I see that when corporate wants people to think a certain way, they make the narrative widespread. They make the narrative widespread and they make everyone think that this is how this situation is. And unfortunately for people, when things are widespread, when we hear a lot of people say the same thing, we don't question it, we just tend to believe it. When we hear a lot of people say something, we just tend to believe it as the truth. And we don't question, we're not questioning, why is this situation the way it is? Why are all of these artists turning on this one individual at this particular time? What is the reasoning behind this? What is the story behind this? That was calculated. That was a planned attack. That was a planned attack, plain and simple. That was not a normal, it's not, oh, he's a bad person, that's what he's, no, that was a calculated attack that was supposed to bring him to nothing in the middle of a contract negotiation. And I realized something there, and then I realized that if he doesn't win this battle that he has ongoing with his, music label, whatever it is, if he doesn't win, it's just a sign to show us that corporate can do anything evil and get away with it. Corporate can do anything evil at the top level and you're done. As long as corporate has that kind of influence and leverage in that media system, they can spew a narrative about you and you're done. That's it. So it was really humbling for me, a really humbling realization for me. And I realized that a lot of people were not even thinking about that to begin with. It's crazy, right? But all in all, the whole story, the number one thing that I could take away from this is how Drake responded, right? And I'm not even talking about him as a fan or whatever. I'm just talking about it from a pop culture perspective and putting that into like a social, like a daily thing that we do. How do we respond to nasty situations? How do we respond to a planned attack or a whole event that is supposed to demoralize us and to bring us to a position where we feel like we've lost and we're empty and there's nothing left to live for? How do you respond in such a situation when you're having lots of people tell you you're not a great artist anymore, everything that you've done is shit, and you should just call it quits? That is where your purpose must be reignited. And that is a sign the way he was able to respond for that, I realized that I was able to see that he didn't really do music just because of the fans. He did music because he felt like he was called to do that, and that it was his passion, that was his purpose. And in moments like that, when your faith is tested, you realize that if the purpose and the thing that you've been doing so long, if you've not lost your identity and yourself in that thing, you can bring life out of that situation again and continue doing what you were already doing without people influencing you. The reason why I say this is because if he made music just because of the fans, in that moment, he probably would have felt like this is it. But because he was able to come out of it, I'm able to see that this is something that he was really passionate about. This is something that he felt he was called to do, right? Because in moments where you feel like the weight of the world is against you and people are speaking negatively about your craft or whatever it is that you're doing, your business, your career, whatever it is, if your purpose is greater than the critics, I can tell. How you respond is what shows us that your purpose is bigger than your critic. And that is the way it should be. Don't spend time arguing with people that are below you and having to prove a point. Just focus on your mission and let your mission take care of the rest. That is the way we respond. That is the way we should respond in every situation that life throws at us. Calculated responses that ensure that in the long run we will win. Sometimes we don't have to win there and then. Sometimes we can just be silent and just make calculated moves that will ensure that we win in the long run. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? So I love you guys very much. It's been great having you guys on this live stream. By transmuting the ego into kindness, we participate in giving for the common good. Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. I 100% agree. By transmuting the ego into kindness, we participate in giving for the common. Yes, 1,000%. 1,000%. If you guys haven't subbed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subs. If everything that I said was really impactful and meaningful to you, go ahead and let me earn that sub. I feel like I've earned that sub. Mama, it's your baby says, why did Mickey divorce Minnie? See, this is the type of stuff that I'm talking about, though. Whoever said that is an idiot. I mean, whoever said that is an idiot. I mean, I don't know who that is, but why would you come on stream and say that? Why would you come on stream and say something so stupid? Anyways, if you guys are still on here, please go subscribe to the channel. I feel like I've talked a lot. I've said something meaningful. I'll be back again on stream tomorrow. Later tomorrow, maybe around 5 p.m., 5:30, talking to you about the good stuff, the good life. So we'll meet again tomorrow. But if you're not subbed to the channel, please go ahead and sub. And then, of course, I'll be looking out for some of you guys, Natty Balk and Hinduism Only. I'll be checking out you guys as well. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been great. Thank you for staying with me on stream. I'm excited. There's a lot of great stuff ahead of us this year. And I'm hoping that you guys are successful in all the things that you do. Okay? So once again, it is the Edmund. It is Love from the USA. Eastern Time, 1:45 on Sunday. I love you guys. I'm checking out. And we will hop and stream again sometime soon. All right, you guys stay blessed. Peace out.